I feel like I'm finally 100% back in the groove after being sick. Right after I was sick, I didn't really feel like walking or training as much as I did before I was sick. But now, even though it's a rest day and I'm not training today, I can't stop walking and doing stuff. Yesterday I got 22,000 steps. Today I think I'm on track for the same or more. It's the cops. They're trying to stop me. I just accidentally found the metal way to carry a shopping bag. Yeah! Yeah, I know, that's fucking stupid.
I've actually really been enjoying my current training program. It feels like everything in it has a place and I don't feel overwhelmed by the amount of stuff I need to do each workout. And therefore I'm focusing more on the quality of each and every set. When it comes to making progress, quality and quantity are obviously both necessary, but I think quality should always come first. You shouldn't add anything until you've proven to yourself over multiple months that you can properly focus on and sustain your current workload first. In lifting, it's easy to get carried away whenever your drive to make progress is very high, but adding too much stuff too quickly tends to lead to either overuse problems or a sudden burnout, which can often happen very unexpectedly.
It's amazing to be back here with fucking chalky hands in a real gym. Definitely beats fitness 24/7 and fucking Ed Sheeran playing on the radio. No offense to Ed Sheeran, he's very talented. But this is metal.
I'm actually only spending about 4 to 5 hours every week training with this program. That is what I've done for 90% of my lifting career, if you can call it that, and made decent progress. The harsh truth though is that if you want to keep making progress, you eventually have to do more than what you did to get to your current level. And I've probably reached a point where 4 to 5 hours per week isn't quite enough. Even though I consider myself highly passionate about lifting, training for much more than this on the long term is difficult without my training quality suffering. I start to just go through the motions and eventually I start burning out. If I begin to feel like I'm living in the gym, the place quickly loses its appeal. This is also why I like to train quote-unquote only 4 days per week, having multiple off days. If I want to increase my volume, I simply make the sessions longer. Well, once they start going past an hour and a half, a fifth workout becomes preferable even for me.
I'm about to leave to a friend's cabin over the weekend. My bus leaves in 2 hours, and in that time I'm trying to walk to the gym 3.5 kilometers, then do a workout, a heavy fav on squats and bench, and then some back offsets on the bench, and then some barbell rows. Then walk back home 3.5 kilometers, pack my bags and leave. Let's see if I can manage.
The great thing about lifting though is that you can alternate how much time and effort you put in, taking advantage of times when you have more energy and drive, and leveraging times when you're burnt out or busier with other things, or even injured. I tend to have these periods 1 or 2 times per year where I'm highly motivated to train and able to maintain both a high quality and a high quantity of training. I slowly build up to much higher volumes than what I usually train with, and then keep that up for somewhere around 2 to 4 months at a time, and that gives me noticeable progress every year. I once trained for almost 10 hours in a single week when doing a thing like this, which in retrospect was probably highly unnecessary. On the other hand, you can maintain your abilities with much less time and effort than what it took to get them. I could probably maintain my strength and muscle for a very long time, if not indefinitely, by training only twice per week for 45 minutes to an hour both sessions. You should do something like this when you're completely mentally done with lifting, rather than stopping altogether, which is what happens way too often with people. You will thank yourself later when your drive eventually comes back and you didn't lose much, if any, strength or muscle. You can also do this on a lift-by-lift basis, of course, specializing on one lift such as the squat while maintaining your other lifts and muscles with much less volume and effort, thus not having to train for much more than you usually do and still being able to make some kind of progress.
I did it.
Now, a complete beginner or simply someone coming off of a multiple month-long layoff can make incredible progress training just 1 hour per week. I would wager you can get about half the gains you could ever possibly reach in your life with just that, if you're efficient with your time. But to reach 90% you probably need 5 hours, and to reach 100% you need something like 10 hours. I'm pulling these numbers right out of my ass, but you get the point. Ironically, in my first 6 months of lifting, I trained 6 days per week for over an hour every session, with very high volumes and fairly short rest periods. Such a thing is easy, it turns out, when you're super excited about lifting while also being relatively weak at the same time. Anyway, that is something to think about. If you're plateaued, do more for the lifts and muscles you want to improve, but be smart about it and build up slowly. You can't make sudden huge jumps in volume without aggravating your body or sometimes your mind.
Walking home from a late night gym session in the rain, not that it's relevant, but pretty sure I just saw a jackal. It was bigger than a dog and smaller than what a wolf should be, right in the middle of the town too. It was very scared of me. I only managed to take a really shitty picture because it's dark. And my flash just died. Ha! Got one. Alright.
This is now week 26 of this fat loss journey, and since there are 52 weeks in a year, that means I've done this for exactly half a year now. It's hard to think that it's been really that long. I've had so much fun with the process that I've been able to do it for a very long time, not trying to lose weight too quickly, so it's been enjoyable and sustainable. I've also had a ton of fun making these videos, really feeling like I'm improving with this whole vlogging process, and I want to thank each and every one of you who's been following these videos. This week I had a ton of energy, so I walked more than what I usually do, getting about 17,000 steps per day on average. As for my measurements, my waist is back at 80 centimeters and my legs are back at 64 centimeters after going up last week. As I mentioned earlier, I had a cabin weekend with my friends, so I ate a bit more during those days. Then I made up for it on Sunday, eating about 1,500 calories. Perhaps not the smartest thing to do, but I felt like it, so whatever. Also, weight is going back down after it bumped up from glycogen last week. Here are some pictures I took from an upwards angle, showing the difference between a regular angle and a favorable one. As you can see, it's pretty damn different, and people can easily fool others into thinking that they've made progress when in reality they just switched the angle or lighting or got a pump or whatever. Once I'm leaner, I'm gonna make a dedicated video on that topic. I think it's really interesting and very important to talk about as well. That is all for this week's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one.